Savannah Chrisley has revealed what plastic surgeries she has gotten. Not only is there a nose job, but there is more. However, her reason for doing them makes sense to fans. Savannah wants to feel her best. She has been open and honest about a lot of things, and this is just something else she is not afraid to hide anymore. There is a lot to unfold and uncover when it comes to this. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Savannah Chrisley has grown up in the public eye. While she was not necessarily a little kid when Chrisley Knows best started filming, she was still a teen. This resulted in her taking criticism and finding out what hate is pretty quickly. However, she has always been a strong and independent woman. This made it somewhat easier on her when she had to take custody of her younger siblings, Grayson and Chloe. However, she fought hard and eventually her parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, were pardoned. Now she is opening up about a lot more now that she has the support from her parents. Savannah Chrisley has opened up and revealed that she recently had a nose job and around Christmas time, she had liposuction. She gained 40 pounds in 3 months and did not like it. However, getting this done led her to taking care of her health and body better. She felt like a better person once this happened. Even though she knew she may get judged for this, she is letting fans know what she has done. Fans understand why she did this to feel more confident. In a world where image reigns supreme and perfection is carefully curated through filters and edits, the human stories behind the glittering facade often remain obscured. Savannah Chrisley, once a teenage beauty queen turned reality TV darling, has long been a fixture of the public eye. From the southern charm of her family show, Chrisley Knows Best, to her own ventures into fashion, podcasting, and self-branding, she has danced on the tightrope of visibility and vulnerability. But recently, Savannah stepped forward to share something that many in her position might have preferred to keep quiet: a 40-pound weight gain and her decision to undergo plastic surgery. In doing so, she peeled back a layer of the polished persona, revealing a complex story not only of physical change, but of personal reckoning. The revelation wasn't just about numbers on a scale or cosmetic enhancements. It was about redefining self-worth in the digital age. The weight of public expectation. Savannah's early fame was tightly intertwined with beauty. As a pageant queen and the daughter of Todd Chrisley, whose sharp wit and obsession with appearances often dominated family scenes, she was cast into a role where aesthetics were currency. Every red carpet moment, every Instagram post, every paparazzi shot became another data point in the public's assessment of her physical value. This burden grew heavier with time. Unlike fleeting viral stars, Savannah remained in the spotlight, aging not in private but under scrutiny. Her image was consistently measured against her earlier self, the lithe teen in glamorous gowns, the bronze blonde whose waistline never seemed to fluctuate. And though Savannah projected confidence and resilience, the private toll was mounting. The pressures were not only external. Internally, she grappled with a collision of standards, those imposed by family legacy, by fame, and by her own expectations. The pandemic years exacerbated the quiet unraveling. With routines disrupted and stress heightened, her body began to reflect the inner tumult. She gained weight minus 40 pounds that seemed to carry more symbolic weight than physical. Reframing the mirror for most people, a change in weight might prompt nothing more than a wardrobe refresh or a new fitness goal. But for someone like Savannah, the change felt existential. She understood that to the public, her body was more than hers. It was a cultural commodity, and deviations from the expected mold would not go unnoticed. But what's remarkable is not that she gained weight, nor that she eventually pursued plastic surgery. What's striking is how she chose to talk about it, with clarity, accountability, and nuance. Rather than frame her surgery as a shameful secret or a spontaneous decision, she explained it as part of a broader journey, a response to years of scrutiny, a desire to reclaim her agency. She made it clear that the weight gain was not a failure, but a signal, a sign that she had been running on fumes, prioritizing performance over wellness. She had fallen into cycles of crash dieting, self-criticism, and the relentless pursuit of approval. The surgery, in her telling, wasn't about erasing the past, it was about making peace with it. Plastic surgery as empowerment. In an era when plastic surgery is both ubiquitous and taboo, Savannah's candidness sparked debate. For some, her openness was refreshing. Savannah Chrisley has revealed what plastic surgeries she has gotten. Not only is there a nose job, but there is more. Her language of clean eating and natural enhancements that often cloaks the cosmetic industry. For others, it raised concerns. Was her transparency encouraging unrealistic standards? Was she, even unintentionally, validating the belief that women must sculpt themselves to remain relevant? But Savannah didn't position her choices as universal truths. Instead, she emphasized the importance of personal context. For her, surgery was a tool, not a cure, but a means of restoring balance. She had reached a point where her mental health was suffering from the disconnect between her internal world and external presentation. In reshaping her body, she wasn't chasing an impossible ideal. She was seeking alignment. Her choice also underscored a complicated truth. Sometimes, empowerment doesn't look like rejection of beauty standards. Sometimes it looks like negotiation. Savannah wasn't abandoning the game. She was rewriting her rules, finding a middle path between conformity and authenticity. In broader cultural moments, Savannah's story doesn't exist in a vacuum. It arrives at a time when the conversation around body image, celebrity, and self-modification is evolving. Social media has democratized beauty, but also intensified its pressures. Filters blur the line between real and retouched. Influencers market transformations as both aspirational and attainable, even as mental health crises spike among young audiences. Against this backdrop, Savannah's admission can be seen as a case study in visibility. Unlike those who quietly undergo procedures and pretend otherwise, she chose to disclose her reality, not to glamorize it, but to contextualize it. She also highlighted the emotional complexity behind such decisions. The surgery didn't fix her, nor did the weight gain break her. Rather, these events were chapters in a larger narrative of self-discovery, one that continues to unfold. Her honesty invites others to examine their own beliefs about bodies, beauty, and what it means to evolve in a world that prizes consistency over change. The backlash and the breakthrough. Inevitably, there was backlash. The internet thrives on extremes, and Savannah's announcement was met with both applause and critique. Some accused her of setting a bad example for young fans. Others praised her for normalizing conversations about body image. But amidst the noise, one thing became clear. Her vulnerability had struck a chord. For every negative comment, there were others. Quiet, sincere messages from women who saw themselves in her struggle. Women who had gained weight after trauma or pregnancy. Women who had hidden cosmetic procedures out of shame. Women who had felt trapped in a loop of self-comparison. Savannah had created a space, however messy, for those voices to emerge. More than a body at its heart, Savannah's revelation is about more than appearance. It's about the tension between visibility and identity, the challenge of growing up in the public eye, and the courage it takes to step off the pedestal and say, "This is who I am now." The 40-pound weight gain wasn't a failure. It was a signal that she needed to slow down, reassess, and heal. The plastic surgery wasn't a betrayal of self-love. It was an act of agency, and the decision to share it all wasn't a PR move. It was a conscious choice to live more truthfully, even if that truth came with backlash. As Savannah continues to navigate her life, still in the public gaze but more grounded than ever, her story stands as a reminder that change is not shameful. Bodies fluctuate. Faces evolve. What matters is the story we tell ourselves when we look in the mirror. For Savannah, that story is no longer about perfection. It's about resilience, honesty, and reclaiming the narrative before someone else writes it for her. Conclusion. Owning the Mirror. Savannah Chrisley's journey reflects a generation's ongoing struggle to balance authenticity with aspiration. Her decision to speak openly about her weight gain and plastic surgery invites a deeper conversation, not about celebrity gossip, but about the quiet battles many fight every day. In a culture that rewards the illusion of effortlessness, her transparency is radical. It affirms that growth is messy, self-love is nonlinear, and beauty is not a destination, but a dialogue. And perhaps that's the most important takeaway, not that she changed, but that she dared to tell the truth about how and why. In doing so, Savannah Chrisley reminded the world that vulnerability is not weakness, but a form of power.